One person. There's always one person. Loved it. Let me get that. 2 likes. All right. So in last night's chat, I must admit, you do have some valuable, wonderful experiences on here, and last night was put a big smile on my dial. When MB shares her life and things like that, I think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. She's a wonderful lady. She really is. Yeah, she is. Travels around, stays in the best hotels that make anything like Marissa ever showed you, like fucking Motel 6 kind of fucking shit and all that. But anyway, not about that. But like last night, there was also a moment in time where, hey, look, I tell you straight up, let me get the side chat. Her home was lovely. Yes, it was. Her home was absolutely gorgeous. She has that. What would you say? Hello, Quirky. Hello, Sue Me. She has this collector's vibe. Like seriously, like going into her house is like fucking walking into what's new, and yeah, you couldn't just sit down on her fucking lounge suite. You know what I mean? You'd just be fucking walking around, and you'd be like Quirky, nosy as fuck, because like, yeah, uh, yeah, such a cool house. Yeah, she has a wonderful life. I've had to apologize to her a couple of times because she's just a kind-hearted woman. She really, really is. She doesn't show you what she shows you to make herself better than you. She shows you what she shows you because she can appreciate the fact that there's people less privileged than her, and she likes to share. She likes to share so that you, like I said, not to make herself better than you or anything. She likes to share, so you get something. I don't know. You just look, and those people who appreciate humans will just look at her shit and go, "Wow, wish I could do that." Like, that's so fucking wonderful. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm going to show you a couple of things. Firstly, I'll show my speed test. I'll make a point behind that. So when you run a speed test, usually goes to M Labs. Look at that. That's fucking Ferrari right there. That's fucking, yeah. Cluck her out, baby. Cluck her out. Stability, yeah. We got a great upload speed and a megabits per second. We got a great download speed. So I don't want to hear anything about like routers and shit like that. Mind you, I do actually want to hear because when the sun gets in a certain position, the router will get hot and fucking start playing up. The heat is heat. Fire generates heat. Heat is a destroyer of everything, right? Now, interconnectivity. When you come to the internet, whether you're running a speed test or not, your VPNs and all that crap, they mean nothing. VPNs are an old school thing. Right. And your IP address will be shared with them and processed by them in accordance with their privacy laws. Hang on. Hang on. How does fucking shared and privacy have anything to do with each other? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. How does that correlate? It doesn't. It doesn't whatsoever. And the lower the audience I have, the better it will be. Because this video, I'm going to shut down as soon as I show you something, make a point, and I will restart straight away. So this live here isn't going to go for too long. All right? So first of all, there was a situation amongst the wrenches last night. I'm not going to go into it. I genuinely tell you, I'm not here to suck up your ass and give you a wrench and like make you feel better because you have a wrench or whatever. No. The side chat is genuinely yours. I have some of the fastest wrenches known around. And they sling that gun real fucking quick. Like, real quick. I understand that at the moment that there's a couple of people that I don't know, they just have a perception of manipulation. But let me tell you, some of the wrenches actually do have my own personal mental health and stuff like that at heart. And to not derail the chat, they will sling it out amongst each other. Steps have been taken to make sure that things are understood, blah, 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 whatever. You cunts work it out, not me. All right, so we can can out the fucking speed test, right? So in the last video I left up, you have a documentary or a report, a journalistic report from 2014, right? Clearly there, 27th of February 2014. You now understand how I, hang on. I fucked up. This has to be correlated and done properly. Wait. History. And it's not about me. There she is. Fancy tea at cozy Christmas room. And, I jokingly say to MB, I blame her if anyone's got anything to say about the way I am, the way I speak on here, because this microphone here, this XLR microphone, it's wonderful. It's a very, very cheap microphone, right? And she said one day, "Hey Vinny, I'd like to, is there anything you'd like?" And I said, I saw this microphone for, I think it was around $60 on eBay. And I said, that would be cool, but I don't want it. Not from you or anything like that. Now, she's had my details and all that. Next thing I know, a fucking microphone turns up. Was I happy it turned up? I was amazed. I just went, wow. I just thought, fuck. And I went from using shitty microphones to using XLR microphones. And yeah, that's MB right there. Now, she's always come to me when other people harass her for money and shit like that. Bergs, all them kind of people. Because, like, people actually... This just goes to tell you, like, I now have a better microphone. Does that mean I'm going to try and sell this microphone or get rid of it or anything like that? No, it's not. That just meant I had a spare microphone. And it's attached to a reverse engineered voice changer. Basically auto-tune, if you'd want to know it as that. I do operate 4 flavors on here. Unix, Linux, iOS, and fucking Windows. The system is more than meets the eye. But that's enough about that. But I'm just looking at a picture of MP enjoying a fucking amazing breakfast in, like, an amazing place. Where she's enjoying a breakfast with sis in an amazing place in a place called Bruges, up in the northern section of Belgium. Last time I was in Bruges, shit, I was so off my face. Like, I mean, weed's legal up there and shit like that. I'm just saying. Brownies. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying. Wonderful. But anyway, enough of that. I like my history, my searches in my history. I'll just say that. I really do. Because what?
Okay, so here's the problem.
I share them with you. Obviously now you know that I'm not right into porn because, like, my after shows, and it's done for a purpose. There's a method to the fucking madness. A total method to the madness. So, once again, 6 years ago, I made a video, Earth Moving Urban Land Development, right? Just a small project. Just a small project, right? I've explained to you that that is clearly my channel. This is clearly my video. Now, I'd like you to understand that 6 years ago would put us in, it's 2023, 2017. So, I'm still in recovery from an accident where some Chinese cunt was playing on his fucking mobile phone, right? And Drove up the beaver tails of the fucking trailer whilst I was trying to unchain an excavator and take it off the trailer and put it on the road to get into a job where I would have to remove a shitload of concrete. It was a high traffic zone, Malvern Road. Yeah. And basically, what should have been the end of me for 2 years, where I totally should have been using crutches here. None of my injuries were able to be put in plaster casts, boots, or anything like that. For the severity, the fractures, the infections, and yeah, it's a fucking whole lot of shit. Anyway, I was always taught to like take a concrete pill and harden the fuck up. I don't know anything else but that, right? I really, really don't. Maybe even on my deathbed, it will be like, take a concrete pill and harden the fuck up, right? So you've all seen my involvement and what I do for work.
Gloves. Cup of tea. Start the day. Yum.
Now, of course, you know, the machine, you got to open the gate to the property, you know. Mind you, notice how my vehicle is behind the gates already. And I'm at the gates giving access to whoever I want to, right? Just to let you know.
Okay, so here's the problem. It's now, as you can see, there's quite a few of them. So I've just been told they're going to be here at least 2 days now. They've got to dig some drains in tomorrow. Got to see how long the trucks take to turn around. And we're plodding along.
The reason you got to see how long it takes for the trucks to turn around is because the amount of trucks you've hired in, you need to make sure that if there's a second day, because that's a fucking 22.5 ton excavator, right? And that's a fucking big pile of dirt, as you will see from the air. I'm not lying. It's fucking huge, right? Yeah, and that's me flying and fucking around and all that, just making sure that they get the fucking shit off so the next stage could be done, right? So I drive them trucks, I operate them machines, I fuck around on blocks of land, you know, dig holes, bury shit, remove shit, fucking whatever, right? It's not about me. Now, I've given you this article, which I will once again link in the side chat. Paste. And hello Twist, hello people in the side chat. I'm very well known for ignoring the side chat. That's why I decided on my channel that, like, you know, the side chat is yours. It's not mine. It's not mine. It's a place where you can come and gather and, you know, you might hate each other, you might like each other. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to be involved in any of that. It's genuinely a place where, what would you say? You come and like, if there's nowhere else to hang, well, then you're welcome to hang here. I don't make any secret that I've gone into Bombshell's chat and blocked every single fucking news that I see there. I don't make any, I don't hide any of that fucking fact, right? But there's an article now pinned in there. I will pin the link. If you're interested, you can have a look at that. But see, that article still, in my mind, because this is the receipts I call for, right? It kind of still doesn't. It's a receipt. It's got dates, and you can, the lady who I did an interview with, she couldn't tie in one thing, right? Daton properties, and I'll show you what Daton properties is, right? So, Anthony Nichols, right, and Peter Scully were partners in a scheme that there was 20 acres bought up in Ballarat, and they needed investors to develop it. This document written by Money Management by a journalist by the name of Malavika, right? ASIC also said the money was squandered. Basically, the project never got off the ground apart from a couple of big advertising billboards out the front of the property in Ballarat. Kind of a place, Ballarat, just by the way. Not a kind of a place. A cold kind of a place. But that is only a newspaper article, right? So let's go to the government file. There was an argument in the chat, not an argument, just like a disagreement about IVOs and AVOs and what they are. I will also copy a document, and I will gladly put the link once again in the side chat. And in Australia, different territories have different laws and things like that. But at the time, as you can see, it's got all our different states and capitals and shit like that, and what PSIOs and PVOs, AVOs and IVOs are. These cocksuckers, to stop me, went to the cops under false pretense and said I was going to put bullets in them, which I was not gonna, but I fucking wanted to. $250,000 is a lot of money. But you know what? The way I was raised was to take a concrete pill and harden the fuck up. Right? And this is related to the problems the ranchers had. So anyway, let's go to a government document. The Australian Securities Investment Commission. Now, see that $750,000 there? 250,000 of it was mine. This is the Australian Securities Investment Commission. This is, there's our insignias, the emu and the kangaroo. This is genuine government stuff. I will also copy the link. Hello, Devious. How are you? Another boring stream. Paste. And you can see that you will be linked directly to the document. Now, this is government stuff. Okay, so let me tell you about government stuff in Australia. Only because of excavators and shit, right? Our, like, I don't know, what would you say? Our Homeland Security, if you'd like, is located in Western Australia. They have a communications line buried underground that is separate but interconnected. So I'm at a military testing facility, a research facility, where they have a fighter jet strapped to the ground in a fucking building, right? They called this bitch T-Rex, right? So anyway, me being the person I am, you got to have clearance. You shit. Considering 9/11 and all that, you have to have some fucking serious security clearance. You have to have such clearance that you're not allowed to have like anything on your record. So anyway, I get to know the people in this. It's just over the Westgate Bridge. It's opposite the Boeing factory. Big planes and shit like that. And I remember ASIO, right? Think about ASIO. ASIO is equivalent of, what would you say? Well, it's bigger than Homeland Security. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm digging a hole down in the ground because I have a problem with their secured intelligence cable line, and they didn't tell me what it was, but I already knew, right? So I'm digging, precision digging, right? You need detection done. You need, you do not want to rip this fucking cable up. It's big, it's protected, it's outer sheathing is extraordinary. It's a link that can't be broken. It basically is protecting Australia. Anyway, so everything is done from in-house, even the cable detection. And I made a comment to the guy detecting the fucking, because I called the cable by its appropriate name. It starts with the letter S, right? And I said, "Oh, are we looking for this?" And he looked up at me as if, how the fuck does he know about this? Next thing I know, while I'm digging the cable, there's 3 higher up military personnel. Because, like, if you know about that cable and you're on a machine digging down to that cable, they're going to watch you. Because if you sever that cable, they'll get it up and running again. But they don't know why you severed it. And they will do a full investigation into your ass. They will sift through your last shit. Right? So anyway, ASIO, ASIC. I met a gentleman here, very good gentleman. His name was Owen Davies. Now, I've blown $250,000, right? I'm not happy. Right? The companies, Peton property was placed into liquidation in 2007, owing creditors more than $4 million. Now, the creditors didn't know where to turn to because these guys did a runner, right? What we call in Australia a runner. Now, just look at the time dates, like 2007, right? His other company was shut down in 2009 because they kind of, well, Peter and Tony didn't have anything to do with each other anymore. They went different ways, but this is 2007. Nichols, Tony Nichols, in 2014. Look at that, 2014. It took fucking 7 years. 7 fucking years. But you know what? After he issued me one of these AVOs, because I was right up his ass. Every breath he took, every move he made, every step he took, when he slept, when he woke, where he went, how he went there, I was there. Yeah. But this media report, which tells you ASIC also said the money was squandered. Peton property was placed into liquidation and dismantled in 2007. So, my question now is to a certain individual here who is, I can guarantee you, a predator in the very least, going by the name of Brian St John. I want him to understand and to see the dates and how people that hunt they never give up. Ever give up. Bringing some credibility at this point in time to this. This is some personal communication, not to make myself look good, just that some people need to understand that when a sociopath comes up against a person that is so fucking determined, they will martyr anything just to get to the bottom, right? You have a thank you so much for your research and bringing this guy to justice. I'm glad that somebody has been fighting to expose the truth for so long. Thank you again. Now, none of this is made up, doctored. There's the dates. All the fonts are the same size, unlike the predator I'm after now, who has made fake receipts and all that. And look, we will get into Chatterbait, right? There's the link to the Zoom meeting that took place. But this is not to make myself look good. This is far from that. No, this is far from that. Because I don't give a fuck how I look. So, I've given you a bit of an insight into the story. You can clearly see that by 2007, the money is gone. I have no ties with either Tony Nichols or Peter Scully. These government documents and these court proceedings and all that mean fuck all to me. My determination, I want to find you and I want to let you know that I never forgive and I never forget. Now, in this interview that took place, lovely lady, she brought some memory back out, and I'll let you know a little bit about that. One went his own way, actually was hiding just up the road there with his family. Found him. Within 2 hours, he'd called the cops saying, oh, I wanted to unalive his kids. Right? If I wanted to do that, it wouldn't be his kids. It wouldn't be his wife. You want these people to never be unalived. You want these people to live in fear. You want these people to know that you're not going to get away with this, mate, no matter what. Right? That was AVO number one. And that's why I received that. Scully, he then, I really didn't know that much yet, but that's when I found out about his partner, which was very young. Mind you, we all talk in the building industry, and when you're a little bit up there, people talk amongst each other, because there's so many land developers that have been caught scamming, defrauding and all that in Australia. Anyway, Scully disappears. A plumber hits me up. They said there's a property on Pound Road in Helen. I kind of think he's there. I contact this plumber. I said, what makes you think he's there? And he proceeds to tell me that he owns the place where this motherfucker's renting out of it. I said, oh, so how do you know me? He goes, dude, he keeps bragging about he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. So one day, just out of curiosity, I go on the internet. And one thing that is high ranking is the website you created. I said, pretty good, huh? He starts laughing. He goes, sure is. Got me ringing you, didn't it? I said, yeah, that's the whole intent. And that was also the other reason for the first AVO. And because they wanted to keep me offline about them. That was their number one priority. Because wherever I located them, straight on the internet, they're here. And considering the investments of that, like 1.8 million in total from 20 people, it was people's life savings. It was fucking retirement funds. It was fucking, it decimated people. It destroyed people. It you know, someone had to be strong. And when the other investors, because one thing these pricks didn't want you to know is the other investors, who they were, because when there's something wrong, people start talking amongst each other in the background. And they know this is going to happen, this pedo, Scully and Tony Nichols. So none of us knew each other. It wasn't long before I changed that single-handedly. And that very first AVO had to take everything down, you know, follow the law, do it by the book. So I did. I told the cops when they came to the front door, 6 of them the first time. I said, love your work, guys. But you see the date here on the AVO? Exactly 12 months. You better tell this cocksucker that you've served me with this AVO. But you better tell him to get ready to issue another one. What that said about was, the cop said, what do you mean? I said, dude, because by the time this AVO's up, I guarantee you, I'm going to go so deep that you guys will be putting handcuffs around that fucking cunt, and you'll be standing him in front of a judge. And I want you to tell him that. And I'm going to make sure that happens. So, anyway, I find this fucking Scully cunt. He's on the run. Right? This is 2009. It's clear by the dates, the government documents, that the money I gave this company is the same as 20 other people gave, as in 19 other people gave as investors. Now you see, there's a predator online here now who tries to twist everything around. Yeah, a predator going by the name of Brian St John. And I'm loving this so much. I am. Now, obviously, by the dates, you see the determination there. You see that I don't need anyone else. I don't need to go to a bigger channel and tell you about this. This video will stay up. So I find this arsehole, Peter Scully, after I'd found out in this, all the people he had dealt with in the past, because there was a company before all this. A company going back to, let me see if I can find it, actually. Now, my memory's fucked, right? You're even lucky you're getting this out of it.
You have a message from God.
What if I put a slash? Am I spelling that right? Now I remember. Can't find it. Now I remember. Okay. Let me have a look. You're gonna see some shocking shit. I'm telling you. Right. So I'm on this cunt's ass, right? I'm just telling you. I right. Shit. My very own words in the Sydney Morning Herald. Which which kind of brings to light, it brings truth to light to thank you so much for your research and bringing this guy to justice. I'm glad that somebody has been fighting to expose the truth for so long. So, alleged paedophile Peter Gerard Scully fled a sordid past in Melbourne. And considering that Ahhhhhh, I've shown you the legal document, where he arrived in Manila in 2011. Now, in that date, he hadn't... Look, I revealed to the makers of the documentary some things that only they read in the court documents, because my court documents weren't used against me. My court documents were actually used to fuck him up. And associates have revealed that he brought to Australia a teenage Malaysian called Ling. Then proceed. These are my very own words. He brought to Australia his girlfriend, a teenage Malaysian called Ling. Now, he then proceeded to pimp her out as an escort and participate in suburban sex parties. Now, considering, you know, $2.68 million was an earlier scam prompted a Supreme Court judge to observe that Scully was prepared to push the boundaries of commercial morality. Now, considering the reason he fled to Manila, all the money was gone. They just lived the high life in Australia, you know, Maseratis and crap like that, you know. The money was gone. How he raised the money to flee Australia was with Ling. Now, a decade prior to that, one of his neighbours described him as dodgy. Say this. The 52-year-old was on Friday charged with human trafficking, murder, child abuse, and rape in the Philippines after his arrest last week. My words. Doesn't surprise me. Because in the documentary interview, now you got to remember, ASIC, ITSA, and the federal police, they need to get warrants, right, to get certain places. Where I had total disregard for any laws, and I had been trained as a network engineer I was it was funny to see like these government bodies actually talking to what you would presume as a hacker, and never once did they try to stop me. Never once did they tell me to keep going. But they knew who I was. They knew what I was doing, and it would proceed to get this guy in a position to get really, really powerful authorities to listen. And now, the court judge in Australia observed that Scully was prepared to push any boundaries of commercial, right? Now, no one knew about that. But here. My words, my very own word. I traced him to the Philippines, but he disappeared. Now, considering where he ended up, and I'm all by myself, I don't have any investigative powers. The authorities know about me. They neither tried to stop me, or they neither tried to tell me to keep going. Me. I never wanted any credit, nothing. This associate. Now, look at the word associate. I was an associate of, let's just say, government and legal organisations, right? Who did not want to be named, said he lost more than $200,000 to Scully in the dodgy property scheme. And he became obsessed with tracking him. And when I tell you that when I hunt these cunts out, I will go above and beyond any means. Now, Ling. Ling. I remember the first time I ever saw her. Fucking bitch. Like a real bitch. Because the money had been declared as squandered. Owen Davies from ASIC said to me, look, Vince, you know, I haven't got the heart to tell the other investors, but there's nothing left. There's no assets to the company. There's nothing left. This is in 2007. So as you can see, any financial ties to this cocksucker were clearly in a land and property deal. I was yet to know, through my obsession, how the story would end. And let me tell you about Ling. Tsang Mui Ling was her full name. Let me type it in the side chat. Thang Mui Ling. And Brian, I hope you're listening, because I kind of warned you about my obsession, and I kind of warned you that everything you see here on YouTube, that was just to actually, be a friendly person to as many as I could, to be social, and things like that. Now, considering I can, on one hand, if I was to name the actual genuine pedos that I've caught on here, and chop a finger off for everyone that has been shamed, named, and done prison time, I may as well chop one hand off, right? Now, how I met Tsang was this part here. He became obsessed with tracking him. So along this whole time, I got 19 people fucking ringing me up all the time. I've heard them cry. I've heard them wanting to take their own lives. I've heard them talk about the disposition that these cocksuckers put them in and all that. And I kind of had to swallow a concrete pill and harden the fuck up. Now, at a preliminary trial in Victoria, right there. Now that correlates back to this government document. The dates on here correlates back to this news article here, where in 2000, ASIC also said the money was squandered. Peton property was placed into liquidation in 2007. I knew the money was gone. The other investors were still getting fucked around. I forced their arm. I obtained the security code to their former premises in Hallam, where you could only receive access via a keypad. Now, how that was done was easy. Was from a vehicle, an RFID reader, and because the security code would be changed on a weekly basis by the body corporate of that company, and they updated via computer the fobs that allowed you, if you had a fob, so no one ever pushed this gate code. I thought, right, well, I've got no chance of, I was into PIC programming and shit like that, right? So I got no hope in hell of getting a fob and reverse engineering the fob and uploading the frequency to transmit in data packets to the gate opener. Because one thing, in 2007, when they left the office at Peton Properties, I hadn't heard of these fuckwits for 2 weeks. I needed a break, a mental break, considering I forced their hand. And I thought, right, I'll get on the motorbike, I'll go right down there. Melverton Court. Hallam, here we come. I go down there and I notice one thing. Because I kind of knew they weren't there anymore. And my only goal was to collect all the mail that was an abundance of it in the letterbox. Totally legal. Collecting someone else's mail. Right? Oh, no, don't worry about that, Carla Ray. Don't worry about it. I want Brian St John to see this. Because you know, Brian St John is more than the father of a child that was murdered. You know that, don't you? Yeah. Now, I've got all the communication I need via letter. I've got amounts owing. I've got creditors, debtors. I got bank accounts. I got all kinds of shit. So anyway, I'm talking like a commercial office. But that's what I want. I want them to be so ridiculous. Because this video stays up, right? Straight up. So anyway, as you've seen, my own words, and that's back then, I became obsessed. Is it a good thing? To catch a predator, right? It takes months and months and months of correlating and investigating. And I'm freelance, you know what I mean? Tang Muling. So, I'm forcing the hand of some of his old friends. I receive a whole bunch of fucking wedding photos. And I'm looking. I became so good at looking at not looking at the people in the photo, because that was going to do me nothing. I look at the background, where they are. I use certain applications to say, yeah, I know where that spot is. So it was not hard to find those places where events took place and go there personally and find out a little bit more. I find Peter Scully. I find exactly, he hasn't fled the country yet. But at a committal hearing, to commit that cunt to trial, where the Australian courts never deemed him a flight risk because he had a passport, right? So I go, right. I get on the motorbike. I buy 2 cans of Bundy and Coke. And I just get, right. Because I've gotten on the phone to him. And the technology in place at the time was mobile phones that weren't smart. You could still block your number. Matter of fact, a Nokia 50 something. Yeah. Anyway, I ring him up and say, "G'day, Pete. Before you hang up on me, I'm going to tell you straight up. I know where you are. I know who you're with. I know what you did this morning. I know what you did this evening. I know where you are." I said, "I've got 19 people, and myself included, wanting to know where our money is." So he's just gone to a committal hearing where he's told that judge, "Oh, I'm going to represent myself, blah, 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 blah," because you have to declare your legal team. You get told by the judge what you're going to need. You get told all that. Right, so anyway, that takes place. "Pete, where are you? I can see you. I know where you are. What's going on?" He invites me around. Jump on the motorbike with 2 cans of Bundy. Now, I'd heard rumours about Tsang, Lu Ming, that she was a kind of a knife-wielding, violent young lady. And you will also hear the name Robert Gilfillan. He's a former partner of Peter Scully's in a venture called The Key Result, where these two dickheads said to people who weren't in a position to buy real estate. So as you can see, this is my involvement in it was, hello, Miss Crimebuster, was, you've seen what I do for work, was all at property level. Yeah. So I turn up, right? I park the bike out the front of the place. Brian. Biker type, right? Yeah. Righto. A biker on a tricycle. So anyway, I ring the doorbell. He buzzes me in. I get in the elevator. I go up 4 floors. Come out of the elevator, take a left-hand turn. There's 2 apartments, one on the left, one on the right, straight out of the elevator. Take a left-hand turn, knock on the door. He opens the door. I don't shake his hand or nothing. I'm just there to see how this is going to go. So, I didn't know Tang was going to be there, but she was there. And considering that in the interview I did with this young lady, in case she's listening, Robert Gilfillan, he was part of the Key Result. And we all talk. In my kind of industry, we know who's going broke. We know who not to trust with money. We know who pays on time. We know who... We know. And cunts like him rely on the privacy laws in Australia where we can't say, oh, such and such of this company, they're going broke. They've just got, you can't name them in public, right? So anyway, the key result, how that worked was people who couldn't afford a house would go to these people who would organise the finance for them and skim a large amount of money off the top of what they would initially borrow, divide it between themselves. They would then say to whoever they got the house for, in return for that service, we want all your wages, weekly, fortnightly, monthly, paid into this account. And we will put you on a budget where we will give you so much for your shopping, so much for your electricity. It was like financial enslavement. Yeah, at a really different level. It was just fucked up. So you had all these families initially from a business, the key result, which had already gone down, and that was in about 2004. Now, what kept the key result from being discovered at a very early stage and say to the guys, hey guys, you're fucked, you lost your money, right? These cunts are scammers, was the fact that they then opened up Peton Properties. And the Peton Properties money, they'd kept all these people from the key result to appease the worry that they were causing, because people who bought houses were kind of wondering, what are we doing this for? Is this going to be our house? What, you know? So ASIC, having declared by this stage in 2007, we're talking about 5 years before this motherfucker flees the country. And not only flees the country, but leaves behind that young lady who he married in fucking her parents. This is where Hong Kong gets tied in. Her parents were from Hong Kong. And me being me, I start becoming obsessed with Hong Kong. So this motherfucker, I don't know, one thing I could never understand is how he met this this lady. I was never able to piece it, ever. And but I knew who was who. I knew where her parents were. Her father was a failed businessman in Hong Kong. And after researching, no, that's right. Like everything else, to make himself look good, because they had spent a huge amount of money on getting this prospectus printed up, glossy, finished and all that, you know, major land development in Ballarat, you know, all that crap. It looked like the real deal. If you were into land investment, you looked at it and you thought, well, they're doing a pretty good, you know, they seem to be doing pretty good. I mean, you look at the prospectus and you go, wow, that's fucking impressive. And, you know, all the rates and what lands, what stages, fuck, all kinds of shit. To make that prospectus look more valid, the idiot gives me a black glossy business card with gold embossed printing on it. And I thought, what, these cunts got an office in Hong Kong? Whatever. I put it in the drawer, and it wasn't for a while that card, I'd forgotten about that card. And anyway, he buzzes me into the building. Up the elevator, turn left, knock, knock. The fucking cunt opens the door. He says, come in, take a seat. He puts me right next to Sang Lui Ming on chairs. Right? She's sitting with one leg. She's sitting with no legs hanging down on the floor. She's got her legs crossed. And, one crossed and one up, knee up. And she's pretending to fuck around on a computer. I said, Peter. Oh, and at the fall of the key result, because of my work online, God, I've now got about 50 people ringing me up, constantly going, we hope you get him, Vince. We hope you get him. I'm not getting paid. I am not nothing. I basically represented the true meaning of the word obsessed. And I got 2 cans of Bundy and Coke in my jacket. I'm listening very carefully. I've got a voice recorder. And I'm listening to all the bullshit, how he tries to make out that the project's been handed over to 2 other guys and they're going to take care of it. He's trying to, smooth things. He's trying to stop me. I still don't know her name because he called her Jennifer, if I remember right. I unzipped my motorbike jacket. I reach into my pocket. She quickly moves her hand down right next to her ass. And she's got a knife. Because he's sitting directly opposite me. And I see that. I'm not stupid. Considering that I already knew, I didn't know where Jennifer was, but I sure as hell knew where Tsang Muiling was. And I didn't realize that he was using the name Jennifer to cover up her real name. And considering I contacted Robert Gilfillan from the Key Result, who went down in 2004. And he was the one that told me she chased him out wielding knives of an apartment that was his in North Melbourne. I saw that knife. Someone had mentioned Jennifer before. I knew that who I was sitting next to was none other than Tsang Muiling. Yeah. I didn't shake his hand. Nothing. I said, gee, Pete, that sounds really good that you've handed over these fucked up businesses, which I totally know what's going on. That's really good. But I got an old Panasonic voice recorder, right? Voice activated and everything. My wife at the time went crazy for the amount of money that I spent on this device. But just got to do what you got to do. I then go home, access my computers, and I access the website. I type in on the page of my website, Peter Scully in capital letters, found. I get an exuberant amount of phone calls. Where is he? 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 I tell people. The next day, here we go again. Apprehended violence order. Because apparently, for sitting down on someone's fucking chair after becoming obsessed and tracking their ass down, you get an apprehended violence order. All good. Same deal. Actually, that one I wasn't home to accept. The cops had knocked on the door that just said, can you tell Vince to come down to the police station and sign the fucking order? You know, look, we just haven't got time to come back. Yeah, okay, I'll tell him. So I go down there. The constable at the front desk, you know, she said, Vince, you understand? Yeah, I understand. You know how you have to notify them they're served? I know you're not going to say it to him. I know you're not, because you can't. I can't communicate with him now for 12 months. But, like, can't one of you fucks just deliver a snide message to him for me? She said, depends what the message is. The message was clear and simple. I said, can you tell him when this expires at midnight on this day, he better apply for another one? She smiled. She said, I think somehow that message can be delivered to him. Now, that was one AVO that was never adhered to. Because the dickhead disappears. However, things get crazy from this point on. He changes his name to Peter Riddell, which he's now using his mother's maiden name. The hopes of me tracking his ass in this country because of privacy and all them laws, that just increased tenfold. I've got to become more obsessed. And I become more obsessed. Turns out, how he funded his trip to get it to escape from the country had nothing to do with money from the land investment. Fraud. Because as I've shown you, the government, the news authorities, everything, Brian, this ain't for you. This ain't to explain anything you're trying to portray about me. I want you to understand what it is that gets shit done. And that's called obsession. And anyway, shit gets crazy. Yeah. And not on this, because I will stop it when I'm ready to go on to the next subject, because this video stays up. Because you got to let them stew in their own sauce. Right? And anyway, shit gets crazy. I get given via electronic transfer some wedding photos. Wedding photos of weddings that had already taken place, which money was scammed, weddings paid for, shit like that. So I get given these wedding photos. And already knowing that the money's gone, having put the workload, increased it by double, because now I've got these key result people that they defrauded, and I've got the fucking Pete Properties people. And they're all treating me like fucking, right, when are we going to get him? When are we going to get him? And like, I had to be rude to some of these people, say, hang on, fuck, I'm doing my best. No one else is. I am. And I find an apartment complex in St Kilda. A guy I know who knows a guy who knows a guy up in legal kind of things makes a phone call. That phone call would be to me. Hey Vince, you might want to check this address out. Right? Now I've got an AVO in place. And I go there. I drive past. I study the building. I ring up the Melbourne Local Council. I ask for blueprints of the building so I can understand the demographics of the building, where the elevators are, and where his apartment is directly. So at this point in time, considering I've got an AVO in place, because apparently I threatened to take them out too. And take care shift. So that's when I call in some help. Owen Davies from ASIC. Because like Owen's ringing me saying, Vince, where is he? Do we have an update and all that? They got their hands tied. They are totally using me to proceed with bringing this person for fraud, property fraud, to justice. Now, considering the legal documentation that was delivered to my house with a $20 note, right, was actually an invitation, and in case I didn't want to drive, the government gave me $20 to get a train fare to the courtroom, where I would be privileged with front row seats. And I'm talking fucking front row, right? And when Tony Nichols stood up, well, his legal team stood up, because he's trying to defend like a motherfucker and the AVO he had in place became nullified right there and then in that courtroom, because it was a courtroom. It was in Victoria. It was a magistrate's court. I was totally in breach of that AVO because I was there by invite from the government. And I remember his legal team standing up after the magistrate said, "Do you have anything to say before I deliberate on this?" We'd like to, provide doctors' reports and all this kind of stuff, mental health. But one of them was, our client may think he has bowel cancer and may need some treatment and all that. Judge looked at his legal defence and said, well, under the circumstances and the excuses provided time after time after time, which has seen us get to this date, we have some good medical resources operating out of our jails in Victoria. They were standing up because the judge was deliberating and said, in all the charges related to the fraud, in the case of the Peton Properties allegations and through the evidence that has been showed to the court, we find you guilty of all the charges, which every charge stuck. They couldn't fight one of them. And when the judge hit the gavel, the judge said 4 words: "Bailiff, take him away." Can you believe there was a dickhead in court that stood up while his children were weeping and his wife was crying like a little bitch? There was a dickhead in court in a long black trench coat going like this. And the look of horror his own family turned around and gave me while the government was tapping me on the shoulder. Yeah. Very proud moment. Justice had been served. That was the Peton Properties case. But then, you see, by the time that court case happened, Scully was nowhere to be found. Because in the pre-committal hearing, he told the court he was going to represent himself. The judge said, "Righto, trial starts next week. We'll see you here." Cunt fucks off to the Philippines. And considering I've shown the dates, that Singapore lady, I've got an AVO in place because apparently for sitting there, having a can of Bundy and Coke, and having notified the whole world, "Yeah, I found him," right? You get an AVO. And whilst that AVO was in place, I find out about this company because I got people helping me, right? Called I Select Escorts. And he was pimping the girl he married out as a high-class prostitute. She wasn't high class. She looked like a fucking monkey. And, I'm walking around the building site, asking some of my mates, hey, you want to fuck? I'm paying for it. All right? And, hey, you got to send someone in undercover, right? You got to send someone in undercover, right? And so, yeah, hey, we're Aussies, right? I dare anyone to challenge me. I got on the arse end of the excavator, few blokes on the ground, because I'm in the excavator when the fucking phone call comes through about this I Select Escorts. So I stop the machine, get on the back of the excavator, and I yell out to all my mates, who wants a fuck? Because like I've got a massive hard on it this time. Because it gets me closer. And that's when I found out about, not only was he pimping her out as he tried to make it out as a high-class escort, but he had a website called I Select Escorts. And I said to me mate, right, he was taking one for the team, I said, look, all we need to do, right, I'm going to deposit some money in your account because it seems to me that they're operating under a, like, credit card or debit card fucking system. I just need you to take a device with you and to pinpoint where you are, how you got the escort, because I need to put it all together so I can present it to ASIC exactly what's going on, because I'm going to get one shot at shutting this fucking business down. One shot. And so my mate goes there, knocks on the door, she's there all dressed up in that, and my mate goes, thanks, see ya. Because I said to my mate, if you do that, there's a slab of beer in it for you. He goes, oh yeah, all right. Yeah. So he gets on his motorbike. Brian, biker type, right? And he's when the connection gets made. So now that that was confirmed, I ring up a few of the hookers on this website, and I'm trying to fess up, get them to fess up how he's operating this. And how it worked, it was like a yellow pages for hookers in Melbourne, where he would, this is where you find out about the search engine optimization part. So he pretended he was some internet guru and guaranteed them that I Select Escorts would be a high-ranking site, and basically the hookers, what they got for their deal, they paid like so much money, because like, look, a hooker is going to have to advertise, right? Now, a website dedicated to hookers, and this cocksucker's guaranteeing you, oh yeah, you'll be the best ranked fucking, on the best ranked website and all that. I'm ringing up hookers, right? And hookers being hookers, they're very street savvy. And out of about 5 hookers I rang up, I knew I was getting played, but I got a little bit out of it. So anyway, every chance I got, I broke that AVO because I knew where he was. I knew what he was doing. I knew who she was. I knew what she was doing. So I'm talking to the government, ASIC and ITSA, because like I met some great people at ITSA as well. The government body that oversees, well, basically when you go bankrupt, you get a trustee associated to your ass. A trustee that ensures you don't earn any more than what you're supposed to. You don't have any assets of more value than what you're supposed to, and all that kind of stuff. Right. But anyway, amongst all this research, I got like this fucking whiteboard, and I've got dates on it, and I'm fucking. You see, Brian, I don't get time to research teen butt fucked. I really don't. You do. That's weird. But anyway. Someone else from the construction industry rings me up. Someone from the union. And who had some kind of previous shonky dealing with Scully, who also got ripped off. He gives me an address and of this other guy. I ring that guy up. This guy is so casual, he just fesses up everything. And that's when he tells me these very words. His own son and his girlfriend were at a party that he had in South Melbourne. He got them both drunk so he could essay the son's girlfriend. They were teenagers. I said, what? Yeah. And that's why in the interview, the person I spoke to was couldn't figure out, according to the legal documents of the court case, where that come from. That was something I found out. Yeah. Now, considering his original wife, her name is Sonia, left that motherfucker because Peter Scully, this is while I'm researching this. I've got an AVO in place. Apparently, him and his mate were in competition to see on who could fuck the youngest chick, right? And Sonia found out about this and said, I'm out of here. I didn't even know about Sonia until I kept researching. Can you imagine that whiteboard you've seen when these people on here say whiteboard? That whiteboard, I can prove to you, is a government asset that has electronic plugs and links to it so that every piece of information that goes on that whiteboard can be printed and used in investigations. Yeah. Anyway, I jot that down as well, right? Trial's coming up. Trial date happens. No Peter Scully. But before that happened, I ring up Owen Davies. I say, Owen, I found him. I'm going to give you all the information. I'm going to transfer it to you right now via email. I'll give you the ABN numbers because he's had to register an ABN number because the law in Australia, you know, if you try to open up a business, you better have an ABN number. So I give him ABN number, addresses, links, and all that sort of shit, evidence collected. I'm on the phone to Owen Davies and I'm going, right, did you get that? He goes, all right, let me have a look. Yeah, we got that. Okay. All right. Give me 12 hours. Okay, good. The information I passed on to the government. So I select escorts. 12 hours later, gone. Trial is coming up. So, considering I've shown you dates, we're in 2009, between 2009 and 2007, every cent from any property deal is gone. In 2007, we're talking 2012 now. No matter what they registered, like as bankrupt, or no matter what they proclaimed they were doing it hard, no matter what they did, my words I showed you in that Herald Sun thing. He became obsessed with tracking him. Yeah. And who was I not associate of? That's the thing. But anyway, she had her personal escort site, Sang Louis Ming. And I thought to myself, bitch, you're going to regret touching that knife. I don't know how, but that moment I was there, you're going to know who Vince is. I'm going to make you regret it. I don't know how. So up on the whiteboard, I got this Hong Kong card. And every moment I could, I'm looking at files and I'm trying to join the dots. And I took a gamble because the black card with gold print on it had the key result printed on it, but it was from an office in Hong Kong. And clearly knowing that these cunts don't have a business in Hong Kong, it was kind of like something to fool people, to make themselves look bigger than what they were and all that. I'm thinking, right, Singapore and Hong Kong aren't that far apart, right? Because I've got a map of the world. I'm tracing everywhere. And I thought, Singapore and Hong Kong aren't that far apart, are they? I wonder. I just wonder. I ring up Hong Kong. And, oh, look at that bit of wine left. I ring up Hong Kong. some guy with a heavy Asian accent, but could understand and articulate English to a level where we could talk. A little bit slower, but we could talk. So I ring up Hong Kong, and I had to bear in mind the time differences. And so I asked the guy who answers the phone, do you know Peter Scully? And he says to me, yeah, very good man, very good man, very, very good man. I said, how do you know him? Oh, he married my daughter. I said, oh, did he? I said to him, your daughter's name wouldn't happen to be Tsang Louis Ming, would it? Yes, yes. She in university. University of what? Sluts? So anyway, I said to him, I said, look, you know, I said, have you got an email address just so you can see what I'm telling you is the truth? So I get an email address. I said, right, you know your daughter's in Australia here in Melbourne working as a prostitute. And he calls me a liar and all this sort of crap. And I said, well, mate, check your fucking emails. That was done in the 12-hour period from setting a stopwatch. Because Owen Davies, he had an ABN number. He had premises. He had everything he wanted. Because Itza is ringing up Owen Davies from ASIC. Itza's saying, did you ring Vince up? Owen Davies says, yeah, we did. Because there's now a warrant out for Peter Scully's arrest. Because he didn't front up to court. And having not fronted up to court, he knew time was of essence to get his ass out of the country. Now, considering you've seen the dates, I've showed you the dates, the businesses went down. The money was squandered. The government tells you how he got the money to leave the country and pay his rent here in an apartment in St Kilda for a few more months was from whoring out his wife, so-called wife, whatever, you know, a marriage of convenience, basically for an entry into Australia, was actually from prostitution and not property deals or anything like that. Do I have to prove anything about myself? No. I'm just going to leave this video up. Because I want someone in America to understand what obsessed is. And no matter what they say about me, you got a problem. It's not going to stop. Ever. Right. So anyway, he flees the country. This is 2012. but in 2000 or 2011. It's got to be 2011. Let me go to Twitter. It is an obsession that earned me a reputation, and I was getting taught how to like investigate shit. In 2015, I sent a message out to 60 Minutes. In 2013, Peter Riddell. Now, considering I just told you that by him changing his name to Peter Riddell, not by law, but by identity on the internet, that there, man, that increased my chances of not finding him. And I worked hard, man. I really did. But I found him. The name of the company I then found Rowville, Melbourne, a former residence of mine. But I found his website. If you click on it, gone. I hijacked their website. Master SEO. So he's in the Philippines when he lands there with money. Not that any land investor or anything gave him, from a prostitution racket. So get your stories right, cunt. Right? And bum smell and all that. Because like, you just might have a problem with someone when you... Peter Riddell is a con man, not an SEO. Check it out. Look at that. I am right up his ass with a name change. He's in the Philippines. I had iSelect Escorts shut down in a fucking heartbeat. So I begin investigating Melbourne internet marketing. Things get really darky. And considering I ain't big noting myself for any of this shit, I have always wanted to remain anonymous. You're not meant to know I exist. But you cunts want to do a true crime shit? You guys can't investigate crap. So anyway, once iSelect Escorts got shut down, Jennifer Tsang Lui Ming, she now only has her website running as a high-end escort, but iSelect Escorts is gone. This motherfucker, Peter Riddell, he's on the run now. I got alerted to the court case and everyone fronting there, but in the pre-committal, he'd said to the judge, the magistrate, I will represent myself. The minute he wasn't in court, you're not going to believe it. Guess whose fucking phone rings? Vince, he didn't show in court. I said, I hope you cunts have got a fucking a block on his passport. It's too late. Just let you know, he's gone through the airport and we don't know where he's heading. Everyone gets disheartened. Everyone, all the work that had been done so far, gone in a heartbeat. But this guy's a cocky motherfucker. A few conversations with the feds. The feds say, look, we don't know where he's gone. I said, well, when was his landing ticket? He has to have a destination. They said the Philippines. Okay. Thank you. But as you can see by the dates, I am up his ass. So, having understood that dealing with the Philippines authorities, understanding the fact that you might have to fucking sacrifice a few shekels, you know, for information and crap like that. It's not very long before I start hearing Cagayan de Oro City. Not very long at all. And he's got this website, melbourneinternetmarketing.com. Right? Now, I've shown you news reports. All the property investment scheme money was squandered. I've shown you the date, the earth moving companies and things like that pushed, forced their hand at going into liquidation. It says so here. Now, in 2014, Nichols stood trial. I heard the gavel fall. Felt no relief, felt no happiness, felt nothing, just numb. Sending that cunt to jail for 5 years. Government documents. Our emblems and shit like that right there. But anyway. You see, Brian, that's why Master SEO 2. That's why. So, right up to 2016, I was basically replicating his Twitter account. I'm calling in 2015 for 60 Minutes, who had contacted me, just like I called this documentary, the makers of the documentary, which I will show. And you can see that I'm not really being... I'm trying to keep a low profile here, but... because he knows who Vinny G is, just as you know who Vinny G is. So, I know the power of the government in Australia. I totally do. And once again, to present my case to the government, you got to do your due diligence, right? So, I begin to investigate Cagayan de Oro City. I meet the police commissioner over phone conversations, and I'm trying to verify, because once I'm in Cagayan de Oro City, it's a whole new different dynamics. Basically, he's run to the Philippines with money made from prostitution racketeering. Nothing to do with property investment, because that was squandered back in 2007 and we are fucking 2012. And from him having left the shores of this country doing a runner, right, you can see I'm clearly up his ass. Brian, see what obsession means? And I've got all these motherfuckers ringing me up. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I said, fuck, give me a break. Fuck. Well, I'm not allowed to have a beer or a barbecue or anything. Ugh. So anyway, I find Melbourne Internet Marketing. I'm thinking, right, how am I going to do this? There's got to be a methodological approach to it. I have to insert myself without them knowing who I am. I have to... All right, I know how we'll do it. I then start ringing up the Philippines. Look, a number was acquired. And I'm playing the dumb cunt at this point in time. I'm a business who needs who needs internet marketing. And they said, what are you selling? I said, art supplies, crayons, paint brushes and things like that. And, okay, yeah. Well, our prices start from $5,000 and all this. I said, okay, yeah. I didn't give a fuck about their prices or anything like that. I wanted to hear his voice, personally. And I couldn't get that. But I know I've got him. And I've also got to prove to the government that, there you go. You wanted to know where he is, Right. So anyway, I befriend one of his employees. Because through the vanity of this real rotten little cunt that I discovered over there, she thought she was it, bit, and a piece of she was a piece of shit. She's also doing life in jail, right? She posted what a great life they were having over there in some links. And I'm trying to relate these people. like the methodological approach here was to actually go into an undercover position, pretending that you had some romantic interest in one of the employees who was a single mother, about 37 years old, and she had a 4-year-old child, and she was working for this guy, Peter Scully. Now, she was looking for a way out of poverty, I think, probably, most likely. I'm not there for any fucking devious reason other than my own devious reason, and that is to fucking pin him. And collateral damage, it's a real thing. It's, I hate to tell you, I am the one that stood on top of an excavator and said, "Who wants a fuck?" Right? Just saying. So anyway, keeping the conversation above board, because all this information is being looked at by the government, and it has to stick, and it has to stick like shit to a shovel. So, all right, I have some very unconventional methods, but they've worked all this time. And why change something that is not broken? Why go? Yeah, you know what I mean? And you will hear how intelligent even the Homeland Security team is when they're trying to find out. Because when they're asking questions, that speed test I showed you initially, that just a speed test, interconnectivity done through the OSI, the Open Systems Interconnect model, which was like the United Nations of communicating, because you had different manufacturers of different devices, but not all of them talk together. I mean, Telnet. If I was to mention Telnet, fuck. First before Telnet, there was SneakerNet, right? SneakerNet was like floppies, one computer to another. Telnet was DB9 cables, basically screwed to the back of your devices in DB9 connectors, where you would have to know some form of programming to actually communicate between nodes. And nodes in the network engineering world are known as computers. Your mobile phone, your tablet, your computer. In the hierarchy of network engineering is a node, right? And you had to. I'm just saying. There's a skill set involved somewhere along the line. Whatever, I never really put it to good use. I mean, to selfish use. I'm just saying. And I become friends with the very own people that he's paying, not from land deals and property deals, from his prostitution racket, which I've already shut down. The money he made from that was the money that would enable him to flee to the Philippines. Because Itza, his bankrupt trustee, I was on his ass as well to make sure that everything is conformed to Australian law. Anyway, I get to somehow, because there had to be a couple of mobile devices, different SIM cards and all that, for the simple reason, in case you fucked up and didn't cover your number, and that number got through to the phone, and they heard your voice, and you tried to say you were someone else, because I was trying to give Melbourne Internet Marketing some business. Not financially, just through inquiries. I would even pretend to be like a $100,000 business looking for some search engine optimization to boost, a site to a higher ranking. Obviously, multiple Australian business numbers had to be registered so that you could appease their fucking minds, as small as they were, to make me untraceable, non-discoverable. So their ABN numbers were associated with websites. An art supply company, a gardening supply company, all that kind of stuff, right? In the hope, because I had to have certainty and I had to be 100% accurate, right? It's called due diligence, Brian. So anyway, I got these fucking 4 shelf companies, right? And they were trying to charge between 5,000 and 10,000 for search engine optimization through Melbourne Internet Marketing, and that's how he was trying to make money. Because once he'd left the prostitution racketeering here in Melbourne, and I shut down that fucking shit real quick, I then left Sang Muiling alone because I knew she was like a fucking fish out of water. She's in a country she don't know about, nothing about. Good luck trying to fucking survive being a hooker. You'll just be a normal fucking mainstream hooker. That's it, straight up. And you look like a fucking monkey. Yeah, I told her that. Before their website got shut down, I contacted her through iSelect Escorts because she was one of those little square things that says fucking Asian background, all that fucking whatever, breast, ass, and fucking shit size. And I said, my last message to her was, I don't know who paid to fuck you because you look like a monkey. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So, Peter Scully's obviously, his money's drying up at this time. Peter Scully don't know. I know every one of his employees by the Peter Scully don't know. I know one of the inspectors of the police force in Cagayan de Oro after having communicated with him, right? Because the clock was running against his ass. Passports only last for so long, tourist visas, visitors visas, whatever, and you may have noticed in some of those articles, preferred to remain anonymous. So anyway, one day, sitting there at the computer, a plan in place, 4 businesses that don't exist, 4 websites are created. Obviously, the skills of Photoshop that you've seen and all that, well, you know, that's kind of where that shit comes from. Understanding the C+ language, JavaScript, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's, to be honest, that's where that shit comes from. The phone rings. Since I couldn't confirm a voice, I had alerted our side down here that I'm pretty sure this is him. I'm getting every fucking 2 hours, I'm getting phone calls. Do we have confirmation? Do we have confirmation? Do we have confirmation? Do we have confirmation? I'm going, guys, stop breaking my fucking balls. Don't ring me again till I ring you. 11 o'clock one night, the phone rings. Hi, Mr. Jones. It's Peter Riddell here. Hey, fuckface. I ain't Mr. Jones. I'm Vince Gerard. Gotcha. Hangs the phone up. Ring up the fucking contacts. 11 o'clock at night. Confirmation. Send all the files through. But see, for some reason, the very week before that happened, considering I couldn't get any confirmation, I was going to take a chance. I had begun to tell his staff, listen, your boss, he's a wanted man in Australia. I don't really know any of you people. I don't want to see you get hurt. You have access to computers over there. You run a business called Melbourne Internet Marketing. I then prove who I am. I said, look, them businesses that you guys kind of thought you had a contract with to, I don't know, charge for search engine optimization. Can you go to the websites right now? There's no more art supply company, gardening, restaurant, and fucking, electrical lighting, I think it was, something like that. It's his warrant for his arrest on every one of them. And I said to him, I said, look, I'm not lying to you. I'm at least being honest with you. I can guarantee you within 24 hours from me telling you this, your business is no more. And sure enough, I go to bed with a hell of a lot of anxiety and butterflies. Because my due diligence now is looked at by the government. And when I wake up in the morning, Melbourne Internet Marketing was no more. Yeah. So anyway, they alert the authorities over there in the Philippines. Turns out the Philippines and Australia don't have an extradition thing, right? And there's kind of nothing that can be done from that point on until visas run out. Then they can make an arrest and jail you or kick you out for overstaying your visa. And considering that I'd found locations, a whole bunch of people working for the motherfucker and shit like that, and he knows who I was, he's gone underground. I am working from Australia at this point in time in a totally different country. Yeah. And that's when I meet Love Megalo. Liesl Megalo. Even after she was charged and what would you say? She was charged and awaiting trial for her role in what would be so fucking sick, so sinister. I actually thought, because the time frame moves along a little bit, because clearly understanding that he was not going to be able to run any kind of legitimate business by law through the power of authorities and things like that, he had to find another way to make money. Now, considering I told you that he was prepared to whore his wife out down here in Melbourne, I shut that down too. All right. Once again, he disappears. And the government sends in some people to the Philippines. Boots on the ground. I'm aware they're there. Everyone's who's in the need to know is aware these people are there. He's changed address, and the only thing I've got to track him is his little bitch had dropped a bit of information on the Melbourne Internet Marketing website. Oh, work parties and all that. And I'm looking at the work party photos. On the whiteboard, I've got, right, that's such and such, that's such and such, that's such and such. That's Liesl Megalo, Love Megalo. That's her sister. All right. So then, back to square one. And all right. They, by this stage, know who I am. They're trying to play me like a motherfucker. I've blown my own cover. They know my voice. They know everything about me. But I make some phone calls, right? And I offer up $1,000, right? Just to see how that would go. Because, like, I know they're desperate for money at this time, right? And they're so playing me hard. But there was a thing behind those phone calls. Considering the OSI and data communications, no matter what the faction of it, 801.1, 802.11, or you know, whatever, it all, it's data, right? Now, data, no matter what you look at, whether it's fiber, T1, T9 lines, fucking whatever, is digital. Now, considering that people don't fail to understand that, you know, the digital age was actually first before the analog age, research Morse code. You know, That's fucking digital. And it was basically to then, with paperwork, go to the telcos and get them to release that data transmission, which would give a direct location. The $1,000 was offered to get them wet enough to keep that link of communication going, to assure that there is enough data there to pinpoint, to exactly. Because where the OSI comes in, the open systems interconnect, the language of transmission, the code, the apex, the fucking gold standard of communication, it has to take place in that way, through all the 7 layers of the OSI, and then back down. And each one of those layers has a task to, even if the end user doesn't have an API, the API is in the form of the device you hold in your hand that you locate. So anyway, kind of get a location, and yeah. Now, the thing is, he from the time we brought down Melbourne internet marketing till the time the pedophile stuff happens, because Liesl Magalo, her mother, she will sell babies, she will sell humans. This is like fucked up and weird. Like, it gets really, really fucking bad. Yeah. And I never thought in my lifetime, just to be honest, from having made a plain, simple investment in land, in the land industry, that completely went broke in 2007. ASIC declared, well, my contacts in ASIC said, Vinny, everybody's done their money. Now, what people are failing to understand here, Brian, is how he got out of the country was simply through iSelect escorts. The thing is, some people never give up, Brian. They become obsessed. Yeah. They do. So what? I've never hid my OCD. If there was the king of OCD, well, did you see how OCD MB raised? Like, fuck me dead. Yeah. And then someone appears in my side chat, and because there's certain parts of it they can't tie to where it got to that point, Or maybe they just, wanted a bit of a conversation. And so an interview begins. An interview that would see like what they were doing. An interview where they fully understood who I was. An interview that would, what would you say? Result in this communique, not to defend myself or to defend myself against anyone. Right there. I now have part one of that documentary. And I'm just going to end this live now and come back straight away because I want this video to stay up. Oh, it's not to defend myself. Let me just be very clear about that.